Recharged, or are you back in the swing of things after a full day at work on a Monday? Look, whatever you've been getting up to, we've got a great show for you this evening. Lots of great music on the way, stuff from Ariana Grande, we've got some Prince, and the new one from Jack Savaretti, who's coming to Western Burt. Speaking of which, news on Western Burt as well. Also coming up on the show, we are going to have, as our guest announcer this evening, the youngest yoga instructor in the whole of the UK. Oh, and by the way, she lives in Painswick. I've got a brilliant 8 o'clock guest for you, and it's a brand new team on the quiz of the day. It's Farid the Zine, magazine, University of Gloucestershire. I hope you've been swatting up. Robin in Painswick, and this is interesting, isn't it? From her introduction, she said she's the youngest qualified yoga instructor in the whole of the country. Hi, Robin.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well. It's been a great weekend, really busy and exciting.
Yeah, now we're going to talk about what you've been getting up to the weekend, because I know it's been exciting and it's sort of to do with the yoga and sort of not. But let's start with your random fact. You are the youngest qualified yoga instructor in the whole of the UK.
Yes, so I trained when I was 16 years old, and since then I've gone around lots of schools in Gloucestershire, Stroud High, Archway, Ladies College, a whole range, getting young people to understand mental health, physical health and well-being. And I also teach yoga in prison in Gloucester as well.
Let's start with the beginning then. How did this all start for you?
So it started when I was 12. I started meditating just to overcome normal sort of teenage angst, and I found it so beneficial that I wanted to train and then share it with others.
So how did you go about doing that at such a young age?
So it was quite difficult to find a training because of insurance reasons, but I contacted loads of people. And then I found a lady who's a very influential person in the yoga world. She goes to Parliament and she's getting yoga to be part of schools, talking with the government. And she really believed in me, and so she managed to find me insurance to train at a young age.
Fantastic. Okay, and what happened at the time then? What exactly was involved in all of the training?
It involved a year's training that I did in my first year of A-level. And I had to go and stay with her for a long weekend every month, and then we'd learn yoga, meditation, movement, and the whole philosophy behind it.
So you were doing that at the same time you were doing your A-levels. How on earth did you find the time to balance all of it?
It was quite a challenge because I was doing fine art, textiles, and business studies. So my teachers were very nice and they sort of extended deadlines for me. But I did find the yoga supported my studies because it made my mind sort of clear and focused.
And at the time, what did your family and friends think about you doing this, at such a young age, and something that's kind of a little bit different as well?
Yeah, I think at first they were sort of thinking that maybe I should wait and just focus on my school, and maybe I wasn't mature enough. But when they saw how much it meant to me, they realised that they should support me, and they really did.
Be honest, Robin, did you have a little "I told you so" moment?
Yeah. Yeah. I think definitely at this point now where it's enabled me to have a business, and also my yoga has just influenced this massive art project that I've done. So yeah, my parents are definitely glad that I did.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, one of the things you mentioned is, you found the benefits and you wanted to share that with other people. What were the benefits for you, Robin, from this? What did you get out of this you didn't get elsewhere?
I think the main thing is when you're a teenager, everything's sort of changing, like school, friendships, your body. It's a very sort of uncertain time, but the practice gave me it was always there. It didn't matter what was happening in my life. I could turn to the mat and I could move and meditate, and I could control how I felt no matter what was going on, and I found that really helpful.
Okay, well, this is really interesting. Robin, I can't wait to hear more from you, and we're going to talk about the art project that you mentioned that happened over the weekend as well, because I know this is the other side of what you do as well, and it's kind of linked to the yoga. So we'll just break for a song, and we'll be back with you, Robin, after this. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
The show this evening is Robin from Painswick, who, as we've already heard, is the youngest qualified yoga instructor in the UK. Hi again, Robin.
Hello.
What's really interesting is you did this a few years ago now. You're now 20, but no one else has done this since.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, there's lots of teenagers now doing yoga, but I don't think anyone has trained that is younger than 16 yet.
No, it just kind of shows how groundbreaking what you did was at the time, I guess.
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, the main challenge is school, of course, because obviously there's loads to do with that. But I'm just so glad that I did put in the hard work to do it. And it's been really fun getting to know loads of young people around Gloucestershire as well and moving with them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, over the weekend, you mentioned you've been really, really busy, and this is something to do with the world of art. So tell me what you've been getting up to.
So I've just finished an art foundation at Stroud College, which is what you do after A-levels and before university. And for my final major project, I wanted to combine my love of yoga and art together because I can't choose between them. And so the exhibition has involved me showcasing the work that I did at college. The art's very unusual, which is what lots of people are saying when they come. It hasn't really been done before, so that I think that's why people are liking it, because it's sort of fresh and new. But it basically involves me using my body to make art. So I print my body. I've done two things. The main installation is made of like recycled bus shelter perspex, covered it with paint, and then I've printed my body onto that. And the pieces have a lot of detail that it almost looks like x-rays. It's quite hard to picture. I have social media accounts, so if people want to see pictures of the work, it's probably best to find it on there.
Great. Okay, well, we'll get the details for them from you a little bit later on. Is this all from your own head, Robin?
Yeah, I had never made artwork like this before, because when I was at school, it would always be paintings or drawings, just, normal kind of art. And Stroud College, the foundation, is so experimental that it constantly made me change the way I was looking at art, and it really pushed my boundaries of art, I guess. So I didn't actually have a vision of producing this work. It kind of just happened through a lot of experimentation and development.
Would you describe yourself as a creative person, Robin?
Yeah, definitely. But I am also quite academic. I love business and I love learning.
And again, I asked you this earlier on when it came to the yoga, but what do your family make of the artistic side of what you're doing? Because if you are also quite academic, sometimes people don't always push you to move into the arts and the creative sector, do they?
Yeah. So my mum has always been very supportive of my art as a child. I think at first my family thought this project was very sort of strange because I was using my body to make artwork, which was very messy. I'd be completely covered in paint and everything. It's very abstract art. But they've seen the exhibition this weekend and they all said that they're very impressed, and hopefully the exhibition will be going up in some galleries locally, but also further afield. Some people that came along have said that they're going to help me get the exhibition up to some bigger galleries in London and stuff, so that would be cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's just talk about the nuts and bolts. And you mentioned kind of using your whole body. I don't want to pry too much, but I am just intrigued when it comes to the details of this. Do you wear clothes and then cover yourself in paint? No. How does it all work?
No, so I had to make most of the work at home because it does involve... I did wear pants, but... So actually making the work was quite a journey for me as well, because at first I was a bit uncomfortable about making the work myself because I'd never done it before and I felt a bit sort of insecure about it. But it actually turned out to be quite liberating and really good for confidence and body confidence.
Yeah, and it sounds absolutely exhausting, Robin, was it?
It was quite technical because as soon as you place your body, you then have to really, really... it was very challenging to actually print my body because every single movement that you make is then printed onto the art, so you have to move your body in a really controlled way. So I think that my yoga practice really helped me be able to control my body in that way.
Yeah, and the actual exhibition at the weekend then, how did that go? Were you pleased with it all?
Yeah, really, really well. I was hanging all the work up on Friday, which was the most crazy, busiest day of my life. I didn't even eat anything. I've never done that before. And then it was open to the public in the evening, and then Saturday as well. And then there was a private view. And I had a dancer called Emily Watkins, who's actually my auntie. She came to do a performance around the work. It was really special to show so many people the work.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, we're going to talk more a little bit later on in the show, Robin. This all sounds really fascinating. I'd love to know where we can see it online and maybe when it moves into some other spaces and galleries as well. So, Robin, are you happy to stick around, be our guest announcer this evening, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later on?
All right, speak in a bit.
Brilliant. Thanks, Robin. Take care. Bye.
My love. My lover, I'm in
Paradise. Someone else who's been at Westonbirt Arboretum, so they've just got the list, haven't they? There, they know what's hot at Westonbirt Arboretum. Of course, we've heard the news today. Stereophonics have been added to the lineup for Forest Live, along with Paul Weller, Jack Savoretti, others as well this year, which should be great. Also, how great is Robin, our guest announcer this evening from Painswick? She is, and still has the title of the youngest yoga instructor in the UK, the youngest qualified yoga instructor in the whole of the UK. She lives in Painswick, and she's also an artist, as you were hearing there. She's had an exhibition in Painswick over the weekend. There is a chance to see it online as well. We'll bring you information about where you can see all that artwork on social media. But it does sound really interesting, doesn't it, when it comes to everything she was doing, as you mentioned, with the perspex and the paint and kind of moving it around. It's a good job that I didn't do that, because it probably wouldn't have ended up anywhere near as good as what Robin has done after experimentation. And I know she's really keen to thank some of the people who've helped her along the way as well, some teachers at Stroud College. So we'll do all of that later on, which is going to be great. Robin's also going to be here introducing some songs, telling us what's coming up in the show as well, and we'll catch up with her again a little bit later on. Also later on, Farid the Zine, you're up.